The Crypt! Okay.
Okay, let's really begin.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brieanna. This is Megan.
Hello.
We work here at the Gunnison Art Center, and we are bringing to you a new project called The Crypt. It will be a video and podcast. We'll have this up on YouTube and hopefully Spotify or anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. So I'm going to start with a little bit of an intro in case you don't know who we are. I am the marketing and gallery director here at the Gunnison Art Center. I've worked here for just about 2 years, just past the 2-year mark after Art Walk Fest in September. And we're going to share our favorite parts of the job as well. So my very favorite part of working this job, I think, happened last night. I left the building, and for a really long time during the pandemic, the building was quiet. It was just us, if that. Definitely not classes, no students, no potters. And last night I left the building, and we had auditions for It's a Wonderful Life coming up in the winter. We had a drawing class going upstairs, which has been really popular. Our drawing class is full, and a bunch of potters in the clay studio in the back laughing and having fun and creating. So I think that's the best, to leave the building when you don't have to set the alarm and it's full.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Megan. I am the program director here at the Gunnison Art Center, and I have been here for 3 years, which goes by super fast. 3.5 almost.
Doesn't it?
And so, yeah, favorite part of the job, I would say it's seeing the community and being so involved with the community and seeing everyone's smiling faces every day. So it's been a real pleasure to be back here finally after being closed for a few months. That was really weird. It didn't feel right. So we're really glad to be back.
I think getting to see the importance of the arts in the community during this time has been,
definitely
reinforces your sense of worth in a job like this. So
we have something to do.
We do, and something to offer. Speaking of, we have Healing Through the Arts classes that are still happening throughout the fall. Those are only $10 an hour, and they're in conjunction with the Center for Mental Health. They give you some tools to help you deal with the tough times that we're going through and or just distract you from them. So check those out on GunnisonArtCenter.org.
Yes, I did want to make an additional note there. That menu got changed to under education. So if you can't find it on our website, just look under education and you will see Healing Through the Arts. So you can find all of those classes.
Yep. And those are still happening all the way through the fall. Okay, so today's episode is going to be called All About the Booze, but the podcast itself is going to be called The Crypt. And I have a little bit of interesting history on our building. So the building itself that the Art Center sits in it was built in 1882. It's one of the oldest buildings in Gunnison. And this building began as the Denver and Rio Grande Railway Express Depot and a European hotel, which comes into play in a couple of our stories a little bit later. And then it's also been just a myriad of things. It was a bar called the Three Thieves Bar. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know actually what it was called, but
it was a bar.
Three
Thieves.
It was.
Kind of like an old Western bar. It was a ski shop. It was a hardware store before we bought it. We bought the building in 1992, and the Council for the Arts, which had been around since the 80s, officially bought the building and inhabited it and built the theater and the galleries and everything you know the Art Center to be now. This is in our basement, the Crypt. And the part that we're sitting in right now is the basement, and then behind us is the Crypt, which was dug out.
I think honestly it might have already been here.
To me, in my head, I like that it was dug out by a spoon.
So the theory is, and I don't know if this is actually true, but the theory is, this is part of, there used to be tunnels that would run from here out under the street so people could come to the European Hotel and not be seen. Mm-hmm. And also supposedly access to the Columbine Victorian Hotel, which is the yellow building just above Timbers and the tavern.
Which we also have some interesting stories about as well.
It's a very creepy place.
Mm-hmm. So the Crypt now houses a lot of our props for our parties, for our plays, and then just a portion of our extensive costume collection. It exists here in the Crypt, upstairs in the backstage of the theater, and then all the way upstairs in another room called the Splatter Room. So that is what lives there now. Before it was tunnels.
It's probably our most famous room.
It definitely is.
Hence the name of the podcast.
Yeah. So we are going to, the podcast will always be named The Crypt, but as we move around and develop the podcast, we will move around the building and show you different parts of it. So we'll come at you from the theater or the dance studio or the splatter room, all different places.
Or the clay studio.
Or the clay studio. But
favorite.
today, our episode, since it's October, is all about the booze. We're going to tell you some haunted stories about the Art Center, talk to you about a ghost tour that we both took around here to talk to them and our experiences as staff working here with the ghosts.
Yes, we're here for all the booze.
We are here for all the booze. All right, so I think we're going to start with a story about last year around Halloween.
It was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We were hosting a ghost tour. We are again this year. It's called Gunnison Ghosts, and we'll talk to you a little bit about that at the end. But last year we were hosting a ghost tour where you could wander around town and see actors perform ghost stories around Gunnison. It was super fun. And Megan spent a lot of time writing these scripts for this ghost tour. And I told her she was going to make the real ghosts mad.
I totally did. But I did do a lot of research too, and it was very interesting learning everything about our town.
And how do we find the actors for that? We just asked people we knew,
out
email. Katie Lewinger was one of them. That was super fun.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. We had one of our volunteers at the time be a ghost. Really last minute. We ended up
Jenny.
dressing her. Yeah, Jenny. We ended up dressing her in a costume. She was just here helping that night because it was Art Walk too, and we ended up dressing her in a costume and sending her off to a bar.
Yes.
To tell a ghost story for the night.
Rob Whiting was Wyatt Earp, so that was awesome too. And he was just wandering around town. If you had a chance to check it out, it was a great time.
Yeah, so it was actually a really big event, bigger than we expected it would be. And we split the building off into two. So there was the front half of the building with the galleries. We were having Art Walk.
Mm-hmm.
I was running that part of it. And then the back half of it was the ghost tour where you could enter through those creepy steps that we never
You've
used.
seen this entrance. It's never open.
Yeah.
You go towards our courtyard, there's a door just to the right. That's
it's never open.
Tomichi entryway.
Yeah.
We keep it locked.
We never use it.
Because those stairs are pretty old and really kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
So that was the entrance.
Yeah, we thought, why not? A little bit of danger to get into the ghost tour.
A little bit of spook. Yeah. And man, it turned out to be crazy. We had a line around the corner.
We did.
Down the sidewalk because we couldn't fit everyone up there.
Exactly. Imagine doing it now.
Oh my gosh.
So there was separating us between the back and the front was a door. I can't remember which door it was.
Yeah. So if you go at the top of those stairs is where there's the art lobby. That's where all the supplies are. If you've taken a class with us, you've probably seen this room. It has a little couch in there and everything. We had food set up in there, and then you can access the dance studio and another office from there. That door was closed, and then I needed to go and get something downstairs. So I ran downstairs and came back, and then it was locked. But there was nobody there to be able to lock it because it locks on the side where Carly wasn't checking people in. And so I couldn't figure out, and I couldn't get it unlocked. So I had to go around. And then finally it unlocked on its own.
And then,
we don't know what happened, actually.
Unlocked behind her. Like the door was open again between Art Walk and the ghost tour. I was... On Art Walk nights, we don't close the building. So we're open usually 10 to 6, but Art Walk starts at 5. So we just go 5 to 8. We don't close the building ever. And Art Walk had begun. I want to say it was like 5:30. The building was open, like it always was all day.
Yeah.
And I went outside to get something, like, I don't know, check something in my car, or get a sign that was outside. And the front door to the Art Center.
The deadbolt was locked, wasn't it?
Yeah, the deadbolt locked. And that's like the door that opens up into the shop that has the office that we're always sitting in. Like that's the door. I mean, there are a lot of doors to the Art Center, but that one is always open.
Yeah.
And so I turned around to come back in. And the weird part was it was locked, but the deadbolt was locked, which we never do.
Use the deadbolt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heads up. If you're a teacher here, we never use the deadbolt.
Because then you can't exit the building if you need to.
Exactly. So just that was locked. I had my keys on me. So I unlocked it. I came back inside did whatever I needed to do for Art Walk, went upstairs to tell Megan how crazy it was that the door was locked and the in-between door
It's locked.
was locked to get to the ghost tour.
Yes.
Again, they were just like locking doors left
I
and
know.
right. Like it was funny.
I think it was an invasion of privacy. We had too
Right?
many people in here.
And like we were telling their stories, but who
Yes.
knows how accurately.
Yeah.
So I feel like they were mad.
I know.
So yeah, locking doors
Locking doors.
all night long.
Yep. That's actually happened to me before you started.
Yeah, the
That
door thing
front
has been
door
a thing.
has been locked on me before,
Hmm.
which is really pretty crummy when you're outside with no keys.
I think they think it's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I would.
That's kind of a constant, the randomly locking doors and the tobacco smell.
Yes.
That pops
so
up around the
you'll
bar.
sometimes smell tobacco, and it's more of a
Like a pipe.
like a pipe smell.
Yeah.
And occasionally it'll kind of waft through a room.
Yeah.
And
I
just
feel like
out
it
of
happens
nowhere.
around the like bar and by the back theater
The theater
entrance.
it's happened,
Yeah.
and also Carly's office.
Carly's office too.
Carly's
is super
office
haunted.
is very haunted.
Yeah.
And the conference room, which is the rock room.
The one that you see in
yeah.
the corner up there when you're looking at the building from Main and Tamichi. That's the top building in the corner. The one that looks haunted. It
Yes.
is.
You know, most of the activity happens, we think, just at the line, because there's a newer building and then there's an old building, which is closer to 138 years old.
Mhm.
And we think, well, when Mark Todd's done investigations here before, he's the paranormal investigation guy, which he moved, so we miss him.
But we are going to talk about a paranormal
We are going to talk about it
investigation.
because we did another one with
Mhm.
us here because we just had to see it. But when he did it, he found a lot of activity in the women's bathroom,
Mhm.
which is just on the edge of where the old meets the new building. So we're thinking there might be some weird energy tension there.
Yeah, and I feel like during concerts they hop from one to the other. I honest to God feel like there's children in the theater. Like
Yes, there
children
are.
ghosts.
There has been someone took a picture and saw a little
Yeah.
boy sitting at the top of the stairs,
I swear,
staring down.
because during art walks back in the day before COVID, when the building was packed, kids would flock to the theater.
Yeah.
And I know it's a cool room, but like all the kids.
You should see
like
what
the Pied Piper.
the dogs do. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Shaughnessy used to work here. She's had my position before. She had a little white dog named Theo, and he came in and he would always run up to the theater to our sound booth and just kind of stare at it. And my dog Louie does the same
The
thing.
sound booth.
The sound booth
Ugh,
just is fascinated with that area.
interesting.
And he acts like there's someone there, like the Louie happy, you know,
curious.
the howling and the crazy.
Maybe they're friendly. Maybe it's the kid.
Maybe it's the kid. Yeah.
When we have concerts and they'll run late into the night, you can tell that we're kind of getting in their way, and that's normally where they hang out. And so they'll play on the elevator that's behind our office, because sometimes we'll be sitting in the office like putting all the bar sales in or the ticket sales or stuff like that. And so we won't be in the theater with the concert happening, and you can hear the elevator running floor to floor.
Yeah.
Just back and forth until
very
the
creepy.
show is over.
It just dings and the door's open and there's no one there.
And then it goes back up to the top,
Yep.
and then it comes back down.
Yeah.
We've asked the guys about it, the elevator maintenance guys, and they say, no, that's really uncommon and shouldn't be happening, but
It happens.
it is. Yeah.
So
it
I don't know
does
if it's our elevator or
happen.
it is safe to ride.
Yeah,
It's
is.
fine.
Just during concerts, it has a lot of activity.
And actually, were you there for that concert? You were.
The one where the speaker
Tom
was
Chacon.
haunted.
Yes. Yeah. So we had a singer-songwriter here, and he wrote a lot of songs about his family history and everything. And he actually had a really interesting family history. And so he was singing a song about that, and I happened to be recording, and then the screen on my phone, what I was recording, kind of warped.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a weird.
It wasn't like a hand tremble, like when you're
no,
recording.
it's just it was
it warped.
like it kind of it was really funny. Kind
Yeah.
of like a invisible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, void or something. It was weird. So I saw that happen and thought, this isn't normal.
We have
Maybe
it on
my
camera.
phone's broken. And then the speakers just like blasted twice, kind of
Yeah,
like when you
like a blip.
disconnect an instrument and it sounds really loud, but it did that twice and it scared everyone in the theater, including the musician. And the first thing he said was like, is this place haunted? And everybody in the crowd was like,
yeah.
yes, it is. So Yes,
And that was
was
your first night running
really
sound
spooky.
too.
Oh my God, I panicked.
Now when we have to run sound, we're like, is it
Yes.
going to be haunted?
You should all know that we panic whenever we have to do anything like this because if anything goes wrong, we try to fix it.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's
We
a lot of pressure on us.
we do the best that we can
Same
with
with
the knowledge we
movies.
have.
You know, our projector, I don't know, it makes me nervous every time. Because you never know.
And then you never know what mood the ghosts are going to be in either. All right, let's talk about the ghost tours.
Yes.
So last year we had a Western team. What was their name? Did they have a specific name?
It's Mark. It was part of Mark Todd's
Mhm.
Paranormal Pursuits.
They were like a ghost investigator team. They had all this technology, these cool machines to like listen to the frequencies that were happening around the art center. So Megan went with half the team one direction, and I went with them the other direction up to Carly's office and the conference room, which didn't have much haunting that night.
Yeah.
Carly's office did, though. There was a ghost just having a heyday in her chair.
Oh, did you see the figures that they do? So they use this. I'm sure some of you are familiar with Xbox. I'm a little, but not with the Xbox Connects. Guess it's a motion sensor addition to your Xbox game console, so you can do activity games and move your body. So it's designed to read your body, and what it does is add a little green stick figure man. And what people started to realize is that when they were using it at home, it was picking up extra people in the room that weren't there, and so they started to realize it's potentially picking up ghosts. And so a lot of paranormal teams now use that. And you can actually scan a room and see if there's someone there, and it'll find people that aren't there. So you'll see a little stick figure moving around in the screen.
Yeah, you can see like a whole. It's like a whole person.
It's a whole person,
crazy.
yeah. And so when they do that, then they give them instructions to see if they respond, to see if it's really something there, not just the connects that's glitching. And the ones that I've done, I didn't see the one here, but the one that I did at the Columbine responded to all the instructions. It was really scary.
Yeah, so Megan went on a tour. So we did this tour here at the Art Center, but Megan went on a separate tour in the Columbine Hotel, that yellow one that's up above
Timbers.
Timbers.
Michi Tavern.
Yeah, right up above there is super haunted. She went on that ghost tour.
It did.
First.
I was doing research for our ghost tour, and it really spooked me.
Yeah.
It was at 10 a.m. on a Sunday, and I've never been so scared at 10 a.m. on a Sunday. A beautiful sunny day. That's a whole other story. Let's finish with the art center.
Our ghost tour.
We had
so
some really cool
the
stuff.
most activity that happened is when we all piled into the basement together.
Oh, actually, I would say when we first found Dave at the top in the art lounge.
Oh, I came in at the end of that.
Okay, so we were all hanging out upstairs, and then you joined us, but we met the two girls then.
That's right.
So we met a ghost named Dave and two girls, and the way we get their names, they have an echo vox, which you talk to and ask your questions, and it'll echo back from the void, I guess.
Yeah.
So it sounds kind of odd. You have to kind of tweak it to make it sound right. And then you can pick up some words from that. So you ask them their names, if they died here,
we had a whole
what
list
they
of
did
questions.
for work. And so we were asking Dave questions. Actually, we were asking the girls questions.
They were sassy.
They have and they have very different. The voices are pretty fascinating because the male voice definitely sounded male and the female voices sounded female. And we were asking them questions. I can't remember if you were here for that part upstairs. It seemed like the girls were staying upstairs and Dave was down here. So when the girls were upstairs, we asked them, because it was a European hotel.
About the sex, right?
Yes. We asked if there was a lot of sex here, and they said, legal sex?
Yeah.
Yes. It's totally fine. And we all were like, oh, okay, that's good to know. Good to know it was legal. So I
don't think they copped to it until we told them they weren't in trouble either.
No, it was really funny. I mean, they were super sassy, and we kept asking for their names and how many people were up here, and they just didn't want to give us anything except the two of them loved talking about themselves, basically. Just like, we're the only ones here.
Yeah. And then we got down to the basement.
And we met Dave.
Where we met Dave.
Yes. So
Nice
he
dude.
actually gave us his name, and we tried to figure out what his job was then.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out what he did. And I don't know if he worked for the railroad. Did he say that?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I'm not
But
sure.
at one point, so we actually got a pretty good conversation going with him, and we heard there was nobody else in the building. It was at night. So the way this works when you do paranormal activities or research, you have to do it when the building's super quiet because you want to be able to hear what you're picking up.
Hmm.
So for here, because we're so active, we have
Was
to
it
do it at
midnight?
night.
It felt like midnight.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah.
And so we were down here and we were talking to him, and then all of a sudden we heard a podium getting moved
Like our
across
art
the
gallery
floor. It was-
podiums.
yeah, those big white podiums that we
Mhm.
have. Someone was dragging it across the floor. And so Brieanna and I instantly were like, who's in the building
Yeah,
moving
we knew
stuff?
exactly what that sound was.
And so when we asked that, Dave said, the girls.
Yeah.
So we think they were just rearranging.
Yeah, just causing mischief while
Yeah,
we were down here talking
exactly.
to Dave.
It was kind of creepy.
They were tricky. They were difficult, but Dave was nice.
Yeah. Oh, see, that just made me jump.
I know, me too. It's just our pipes.
And it's, 10 a.m.
Speaking of, yeah,
Yes.
they got the
I know.
stories. Let's see.
So-
Oh, I have a particularly funny one. So there's
Oh, gosh.
this season we went through where all of our computers were really, really slowing down. My computer was the worst of it, and I needed to, what is it, like clear the
The temp files?
temp files.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. So I was defragmenting my computer like it was the 90s. And I was here late, working on something late. And it was after, I think, a concert or something. And it said it was going to take an hour. So Megan's dog had been there earlier that day, Louie.
Yes.
And she put a blanket out for Louie in the office. So it was like, it's going to be an hour. It was like 10 o'clock when I set to defragment it. And I was like, okay, I'll just curl up on Louie's blanket. An hour is fine.
Nap anywhere.
I don't think I planned to nap. I was just so tired. And I was like, that blanket looks really comfy. And so I curled up in a ball. I was brand new here. I had worked
Yes.
here for like
She was.
a few months and curled up and fell asleep on this blanket. And all of a sudden, middle of the night, 3 a.m., y'all, I hear a bang that came from the dance studio, just like a clamor, like something got knocked over. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I would have run out of here
Woke
so
me
fast.
Clean up. Like, woke up, computer was defragmented. I was on the floor of my office at 3 a.m. in the Gunnison Art Center. Oh my God. But because I care and I'm a good employee, I checked the
Oh my
dance
God,
studio.
I would have gotten out of here so fast.
I had to make sure nobody was in the building. So, like, as terrified as I was, I felt like I was going to pee my pants. I looked in the dance studio.
Wow.
When no one was there, I bolted.
Well, you should have bolted.
I know.
Right away. It's 3 a.m. Go home.
I know. So that was my very personal
That's dedication right there.
haunting story. Exactly. I cared enough.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have other stories now I'm remembering. Paige and I were hanging out. If you all haven't met Paige yet, she's a ceramicist here. She's wonderful. So she had just started working here and she was in the clay studio in the middle of the day. We have all the lights on so she can see what she's doing. And she said, so is this place really haunted? And I just kind of started telling her all these stories. And she said, yeah, but is it really? And all the lights turned off when she said that and then came back on. And I was like, yes, it is. There you have it.
Oh,
It really
Paige.
is. I know.
That's just incredible.
I know. It was so crazy.
Because I can see
So crazy.
Paige needing that kind of an answer.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. No one was in there except me and Paige, and I did not touch the light switch.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
All right, we have to wrap up our episode. This has been super fun.
I know.
I do want to
can't
tell
believe-
you about some spooks that we have coming up. Why don't you tell about the ghost tour?
Oh, yeah. So we are doing another ghost tour. It's coming up pretty soon, actually.
COVID friendly.
Yes. It's starting next week, already on Friday. There's always so much to do. So we're hoping we're going to get it going. And it's actually going to be a self-guided tour similar to last year, but you won't have to check in with us on a specific night. We're going to run it, I believe it's for a week, maybe even 2.
Mhm.
I'll have to check on that.
I think it's 2.
I think it's 2. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to everybody's going to get a map, and then we're going to put images around town, and you will be able to download a software app. Fancy. We're getting very fancy here. So you're going
Have
to
to.
download an app and you'll be able to scan those images once you find them around town. And then it'll start playing a video for you with the ghosts and their stories. So this allows us to keep people separate. You'll be able to go whenever you feel comfortable going. So if some of you thrill seekers out there want to go at midnight or 3 a.m. like Brieanna, you can. And the images will be up for 2 weeks and you'll have time to complete it. So when you sign up with us, you'll get all the instructions to download the app and get your map and go have a good time.
Okay, once more.
Once more.
So, sorry about that. We got cut off by our camera. We will fix all of the technical difficulties during this episode, and it will be seamless from here on out.
Sure.
Yeah. So it cut us off right before we got to tell you about the Zoom murder mystery coming up on October 31st. So I know that there aren't very many plans with the city, or at least not the usual plans. There's no trick-or-treat street.
I know.
I know a lot of parents and families are hesitant to go trick-or-treating, so the Gunnison Art Center decided to do something fun on the 31st for families. So it's going to be a wizard murder mystery.
Murder mystery.
And you can pick any smatterings of characters. It's up on Facebook right now, and it's up on the website, all of our available characters. And you'll pick a character. You can pick up your props before the murder mystery, and you can have it with dinner from Palisades, or you can get a ticket without. And if you don't want to be a character, but you still want to solve the mystery, you can sign up as a generic witch or wizard, and then you don't have a speaking part, and you can still solve it. I know a couple of
Always
people,
a safe route.
Yeah, right, if you just don't want to say anything or do any acting. I know some people are already interested in our characters, a couple of our girlfriends.
Yes.
So make sure you go check that out as soon as possible and get the character that you want.
It's going to be really fun.
It is. So that'll be on Halloween, the 31st, 6 to 9 p.m. And like I said, before the event, we'll get you your props and your dinner if you so choose. The whole family can join in, too. It's family friendly.
I actually was just reading up on all the Halloween happenings, which is not very many.
It's not very many.
There are some pumpkin patches popping up, and there is, if you should check it out, the city's doing a scavenger hunt. Well, the chamber is.
Yeah.
So instead of Trick or Treat Main Street. But then the murder mystery could be perfect for adults.
Exactly. The murder
Because
mystery
we all
can be
need to do
perfect
stuff.
for adults, or if your kids are really into Harry Potter, the wizarding world, this is...
That'll be great.
Yeah, Harry Potter adjacent.
Yeah.
It's about a dagger maker called Jippity Umlaut who is murdered, and your job is to find out how and why. And you will find out if you're guilty immediately before the dinner. So join in at GunnisonArtCenter.org. I also wanted to thank Tributary Coffee, our coffee change. Sorry about the continuity. But thank you to Tributary for fueling our Crypt episode today. We couldn't get through without you. We appreciate your chai and your really strong coffee.
We do visit a lot.
We do. So make sure you visit as well and get yourself a strong cup of coffee and sign up for all of our Halloween offerings.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
Yay.